Hello and welcome to the video. I've got some user interface updates to LessonStack that I'm really excited to show you today. So this is the Discover page, and you can see that I've really tidied up this whole area here. Now what we used to have was two buttons, one for like and one for copy, and you could click the copy button multiple times and make multiple copies. Now there was a couple of problems with that we kind of learned as we grew on the site, and one was that the like button wasn't that useful, in that on LessonStack the metric that really matters is this a drill that you want to use? So whether or not you copy something is really valuable information, and a like just really isn't that useful. Like, you know, if you like it you'll probably copy it. So we've removed the like functionality from this page altogether, and we've improved this copy UI. So now you'll see I've got this big green copied with a tick to show on all the activities that I have copies of. And what that means is just that it's much easier for me to see at a glance which activities I have, which ones I already have in my library. We've also removed the functionality to make multiple copies by re-clicking. So once I've copied it, that's it. I can't make more copies by clicking that button. And the reason is, when we first started LessonStack, the idea was that you might want more than one copy and you might want to edit them differently. But actually what we found is that it was too easy for people just to keep accidentally clicking that button and making duplicates. And then when you have duplicates in your activities page, it's kind of a pain. So we figured out that the benefit of being able to make multiple copies just wasn't worth the drawback of having kind of duplicates in your activities page. So this is just a one click now on here. And you can see that this is just kind of nice and streamlined, and I can scroll through and easily see whether or not I've made a copy of anything. Okay, we've also updated the ordering on activities, and this is really exciting. I think there's some changes here that I think are really going to improve how you find and order your activities. So you can order by newest and last updated. And name. These are kind of standard, they're not too exciting, but they're there if you need them. Now it gets really interesting here. You can select most stacked. Now if I click most stacked, these are the activities that I stack the most. So these are things that I coach all the time. And how it works is when I drag and drop an activity onto a stack, there's just a counter in the database. You can't see it on the front end, but it's in the back end, and it will just give a +1 on that activity. Basically it will just give it a score of +1, and every time you do it that score will go up. So all of these activities can now be ordered by how often you coach them, and that is a really powerful tool. The reason is it tells you as a coach where your time is going to be really well spent when you come to update and change your activities. So dynamic warm-up is something I coach almost every single session. It's at the very top because every session I do a warm-up. Now if I click on that activity, I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, do you know what? I'm teaching this for 10 minutes to maybe 10-15 people 2 or 3 times a week. There's a lot of man hours going into this drill. Even though it's only 10 minutes, I'm coaching it so regularly that this is really worth my time to invest in and think about how I can improve. And when I look at this as a coach, I think I can give this more depth. Like, it's great that I have this warm-up, but you know what? The next time I coach it, I'm going to make an incremental change. I'm going to update it a little bit. And just in my mind now, I can really look at these and think, this is where my time is going to be well spent. These are drills that I use a lot. These are things that I should think about improving as a coach, and doing so will really benefit me. So that's really good. And also when I come to create stacks, I can find my staples here nice and quickly. So if I'm creating a brand new lesson stack somewhere I've never coached before, I can put my hands on my staple drills really quickly and just drag and drop them into my lesson stack just like that. The next one I'm really excited about is most copied. Now I can order my activities by how many other coaches have made copies of them. And this is really interesting because when you make activities on LessonStack, you can make them public and then other coaches can copy them. And you kind of think, oh well, I'm doing those coaches a favor, right? I'm creating this content, I'm, making it free for them to use, etc., etc. But what's really interesting is they are now feeding back to you. When they make a copy of your activity, they're giving you a metric whereby you can say, these are my activities that other coaches are kind of giving the thumbs up. This is, in a way, it's feedback in and of itself. That's a really powerful metric, because on LessonStack a copy is like, this is something I would coach, that's why I copied it. So when other coaches look at your activities and they say, yeah, this is something I would coach, it gives you that ability to just get that feedback of what is really useful and what do other coaches think is really useful. And I think this is especially interesting when you can filter by blocking, and you can say like, well, these are all my activities that are blocking, and these are the activities that other coaches think are really good too. So that is just a really interesting way to order your material and your activities in your library in a way that you know is useful and that other coaches think is useful too. So I think that's really interesting. Now, where this kind of hits another level is if you come back to the Discover page, you can do the same thing here. So let's say I want jamming activities and I want to see what other coaches are actually coaching. I can come to Most Stacked and I can choose jamming, and now I can come through here and I can see these are the activities that other coaches are actually coaching on their jammers, which is really interesting because it gives you that little insight into what they're doing in a really interesting way. Now, what I can also do is I can come to following. Now, these are coaches that I follow, and I can do the same thing here. These are all coaches that I've seen their stuff on LessonStack. I like what they're doing. I'm interested in knowing about what they're coaching, and now I can come here and see the same things that I want to see from other coaches that I really like. So let's say I want to see all the blocking activities and I want to see them by most copied. So these are all the blocking activities by coaches that I like, and they're ordered by how much the other coaches like them. So I can get this top-down view of which of these drills I should think about incorporating into my own library. So the next time I'm looking for some inspiration, I want to improve my blocking drills, I want to improve my blocking coaching, or maybe I'm putting together a new practice for Saturdays and I need to find something that's going to get our blocking skills up. I can come here, I can look through the coaches that I like, and I can find out what they're coaching and which ones of these I want to incorporate into my own practice. And that to me is a tool that I'm really excited about, because it just starts to really leverage the community in a way where you can begin to find and be inspired by other drills that are really interesting, that are that you may not have known of otherwise, and that you know other coaches are genuinely using in their own coaching. So I'm really excited by that. I hope you are too, and if you enjoyed that, I will see you next time. Bye bye for now.